Primetime, a special week as two special teams slug it out at the stick. Some would say special teams. What a home debut for Desmond Howard. What a 92 NFL coming out party for Deion Sanders. Tackling and blocking, all of a sudden elementary for Big D. A Pro Bowler came to the forefront in Detroit, and it wasn't Barry Sanders. In the AFC West, you need defense to survive. I said in the AFC West, you need defense to survive. Could the Bucs go 2-0? Could the Bengals go 2-0? Could the Colts? Let us entertain you next. Calm, cool, and collected, aren't we? Welcome to week number 2 of NFL Primetime. I'm Chris Berman. Some wild and woolly ball games. Let us tell you about it, and let us introduce our cast. Well, a cast that cannot be topped. Tom Jackson, Robin Roberts, back from tennis, here to football. Let's talk some football, shall we? All right, first, the late games going on in the NFL. It is now just the final. Mike Koper missed a field goal, a long one, 47 yards with under a minute to go. And the Buffalo Bills have beaten the 49ers at Candlestick, 34-31. Highlights of that one later on. The offense of 1,000 yards. It was unbelievable, and we will show it all to you. Elsewhere, final score in a game that put football back about 30 years. The Rams over the Patriots, 14-0 after a scoreless first half, couple of touchdowns from Cleveland Gary. Beat the Colts 20-10. Colts finished up with Tom Tupa at quarterback. As Trudeau had to leave, he was hurt. Moon had 361 yards throwing. Pittsburgh Steelers, they hurt Browning Nagel late and intercept O'Brien on his first pass. Steelers now pulling away in the fourth quarter, 27-10 over the Jets, 4.5 minutes to go. And the Broncos with under 3 minutes to go. The Broncos lead the Chargers at Mile High, 21-13. Plenty of great games to tell you about, but where do we start? Week 2, the Bay of Pigs. Tampa Bay hosting Green Bay. 2 NFC Central have-nots. But in Tampa Bay, there's a new attitude, there's a new coach, there's new orange pants, and there are new results. You don't believe? Let's take a look. From the big sombrero, Terrell Buckley will be in the Packer lineup one day, but the #1 draft choice just signed and play today, and it was over 120 degrees on the field at Tampa Stadium. Don Mikowski, the Packers wearing those dark green jerseys. Harry Sidney falls down and wishes he was in Australia. It's a bow. Ricky Reynolds picks it up, and look at him, twist, turn, into the end zone, touchdown, and the Bucs lead it 7-0. Oh, that clockwork orange defense of the Buccaneers. It's all over the place. Joey Browner tips it. Darryl Fullington brings it down, and then, whoa, no, the other way, that way, and he goes down to the 20-yard line. The Bucs D forcing 3 turnovers today. Sam says roll it, and they do. Vinny Testaverde, a question mark, came down with the flu over the weekend. He was no question mark today. To Mark Carrier, touchdown. 14-0 Tampa Bay. And look at Sam. Look at Sam. Look at Sam. That combination worked again. Testaverde and Carrier didn't hook up at all last week, but this time wide open, Tommy.
Chris, is a short post corner. You make the safety commit to the post, come back to the corner, bobbles the ball a little bit, Carrier concentration, gets it in.
Testaverde to Carrier again. This combination hooked up 7 times. Then Testaverde to Carrier. 40 yards. Look at him roll. It sets up a field goal. Nothing Tampa Bay. I said 17-0 Tampa Bay. Look at Vinny's first half. Mike Holmgren says, well, there's got to be something going right. But not on this day. Magic doesn't complete it with Harry Sidney. Tries to go long. Doesn't complete it there. And don't forget about the youngster Santana Dotson. Boy, he's impressed in the first couple of games. He's playing Oye Como Va all over Magic there. 17-0. The Bucs are ahead. So no Magic. Brett Favre in the second half as the quarterback for the Pack. But Santana Dotson, another sack. 5 Buccaneer sacks on the day. For Vinny, watch this play, just like they diagram it. Gary Anderson, zip. Vinny. Oh, let me tell you about Lawrence Dawsey down to the 2-yard line. Walter Payton's rushing records could be in jeopardy. Why? Because Vinny's now a running back. It's a touchdown. The Buccaneers shake, rattle, and roll the Green Bay Packers 31-3. The first time the Bucs have started 2-0 since 1980 with Doug Williams and Leroy Selman and a whole other team. Vinny, 22 of 25 for 363 yards, and this is when he was supposed to have the flu. So, Tommy, what can you say? After 2 games at home in the white jerseys and the orange pants,
Sam, I am 2-0.
Yeah, I talked with Coach Weich this weekend, and what he said is you're going to see a more mature Vinny Testaverde, and I think that's just what we've seen the first two games, and the numbers bear that out. But more importantly, I think Sam is always the innovator, and this week we saw him take his offensive line, and with the exception of left tackle Paul Gruber, he's rotating the offensive line. So all that talk of cohesion in the offensive line and the communication that has to be developed on the field, not.
Well, the Buccaneers 2-0, and what a new attitude down south, that's for sure. And I'll tell you what's also new about the Buccaneers is we have plenty more to show you, including a primetime performance from Primetime, that's for sure, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you know what they've done? Vinny has yet to throw an interception in 2 games. The Bucs didn't turn it over at all today. Last year, the Bucs turnover differential, -20. After 2 games thus far this year, +5. Way to hold on to the football, Tampa Bay. When we return, wild one, 2 different ball games between the Cowboys and the Giants. We'll show you both in a moment.
Time is brought to you by Galore and your local travel agent.
When Primetime continues, the new look Bengals, Chicago Cubs, Sunday Night Baseball comes your way here on ESPN at 8 Eastern Time. Back on NFL Primetime, had to be a weird feeling today for David Craig, so long quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. He went into Arrowhead every year, tried to beat the Chiefs. Now with the Chiefs trying to beat the Seahawks, all his friends. Bizarre.
A little bit bizarre. A couple of AFC West foes going head-to-head. That's not bizarre. It is bizarre for me to see a sporting event under 5 hours after being at the U.S. Open all week long. Chiefs quarterback Dave Craig going up against his old teammates, and there are 2 teams apparently going in opposite directions. The Seahawks were less than impressive in their opening loss to the Bengals last week, and they took the field at Arrowhead Stadium knowing they had lost 9 of their last 10 games there, and they didn't have Dave Craig this time because this year he is a Chief. KC's first series, Craig wastes little time. He hits J.J. Burden on the crossing pattern. He outruns the defense, going 72 yards to the touchdown. Craig taking no mercy on his former team, TJ.
Yeah, and Robin, you talk about crossing pattern. Maybe it ought to be called criss-crossing pattern. You watch the 4 receivers here at the line of scrimmage. You're going to see the 4th receiver come right there. Hard to pick up your man if you're in man-to-man coverage, and that's how J.J. Burden gets the touchdown.
Just like that. It was a 7-all tie when Christian Okoye entered the game for the first time. His first carry of the year, he goes for 18 yards, and he breaks Ed Podolak's all-time rushing record as a Kansas City Chief. Okoye with 18 carries for 63 yards today. He would try the right side, find some success. Okoye up the middle. Good yardage. Okoye again. Successful plays to the right side. Seattle looking for the run, so what do? The flea flicker. Back to Craig, who hits Todd McNair, a 22-yard gain that would lead to a 26-yard Nick Lowry field goal. Time running out in the first half. Craig hits Willie Davis across the middle. Great diving catch. That would lead to another Lowry field goal for 32 yards. Chiefs led 13-7 at the half. Craig still playing well in the second half. He hits Fred Jones on the sideline. Another great catch. Craig threw for 231 yards, 1 touchdown, no INTs. How about that KC's defense? Percy Snow nails Reuben Mays in the kick return. Then Kelly Stauffer tries to rally Seattle. He's picked off by Lonnie Marks, and he does some mighty fine running down the sideline. 36-yard return. That would make it 20-7. Everything going right for KC. Craig hit from behind by Rufus Porter. Cortez Kennedy scoops up the fumble, but Barry Ward playing hard. Great hustle. He tackles Kennedy, gets the ball back. Atlanta, not the only place they're doing the chop these days. Chiefs win 26-7. Chiefs running back Harvey Williams left the game in the first half with a knee injury. He was walking around the clubhouse following the game. The Chiefs rolled up 320 yards of total offense compared to 189 for Seattle. That's why they've only scored 10 points in their first 2 games. While the Chiefs have won successive games to open the season for the first time since 1985.
Yeah, Kansas City Chiefs have an outstanding defense. We can cheer in a little low today as well. Was that Lonnie Kmart's with the blue light special?
That's your specialty.
I thought that's what it was.
Yes.
All right, let's move on now to the Raiders and the Cincinnati Bengals. Long odds going into the season if you're going to say that David Shula would win 2 games before Don Shula did this year. I think even longer odds if you said David Shula would win 2 games before his father Don even coached one. But the Dolphins haven't played yet, and today, David Shula's Bengals against the Raiders. Todd Murdovic wondering if he would get the shot. Jay Schrader answered critics today. Here he throws it out in the left flat to Marcus Allen. Puts the move on number 31, Darrell Williams, and Marcus is all the way to the 35. A 38-yard pickup. To Tim Brown. Down 7-0 Raiders. But the Bengals come back. It's 14-7 Raiders in the second, and Boomer scrambles. Looks for Carl Slim Pickens. Has him for 18 yards. Then Boomer to another Tennessean, Tim McGee, down to the 10. Then Boomer over the middle of the former Seahawk, Derek Fenner. It's a touchdown, and we're tied at 14, Tom.
Yeah, and Derek Fenner at both ends of this play takes the play fake from Boomer, eases through the line, takes a nice soft pass, and breaks the tackle into the end zone.
All right, let's move to the third quarter. Schrader to Willie Gault. Nice leaping grab for 14 yards. Then Schrader. Look at Jay run. He's going to rumble into Bengal territory for 20 yards. And then Schrader over the middle to Ethan Horton. Ooh, here's a who right there. 30-yard pickup. That would set up Schrader. Looking poised. Nice dart to Tim Brown. Oh, no! But Rod Jones strips the ball and recovers. The Raiders fumble on the 1-foot line, and it's Cincinnati ball. So Boomer wants to make him pay. To Reggie Rembert, wide open, 27 yards. That sets up 4th and goal. David Shula 4 times is gambled on 4th down. And guess what? It's a touchdown. Eric Ball late in the third quarter. The Bengals lead at 21-14. Raiders early in the fourth settle for a field goal. But James Francis blocks the kick. And Shula's special teams doing the job. What a day for special teams, as you'll see. Raiders' next possession. Schrader to Ethan Horton. Well, this looks like a different quarterback than the one we saw on Nitro. Then Schrader to Horton again, 22 yards. And Schrader to Tim Brown for 20. Jay was 25 of 40 today for 380 yards and a pair of TDs. Just after the 2-minute warning. Marcus Allen, the right side, gets the block, waltzes in, we're tied at 21. Raiders get the ball back with 1:08 to go. Marcus runs the ball first, then Schrader to Tim Brown, but he can't get out of bounds. Tick, 9 yards. It's left. So Art Shell and the Raiders go time against the Bengals. Dan Land opening kickoff. Eddie, oh no, Sam, their team. He knocked the ball loose and Antoine Bennett recovers.
Yeah, Chris, as you say, Sam Grady got his head right on the football. It's just too bad it was his own man.
Oh, Sam, so Dan Land can only watch as on second down, Shula sends in the kicker. And Jim, who's been into the breach before, nails it right down the middle, 34 yards. David Shula, he's 2-0 as a head coach. The Bengals beat the Raiders 24-21. No turnovers on the day for the Cincinnati Bengals. And poor Grady, who scored a touchdown, then essentially caused the final fumble. Harold Green had 97 yards rushing for the Bengals. The Bengals 2-0, the Bucks 2-0. What does it mean? Well, we can tell you this, that in the last 2 years, 12 teams began the season 2-0. 11 of them made the playoffs. Playoffs in Cincy and Tampa Bay, you never know. When we return, offensive struggle in New Orleans. Jim Harbaugh meet Ricky Jackson and the Saints. Stay with us. 27-10 Pittsburgh final. So Bill Cowher 2-0, and we just told you about 2-0 teams. And the Denver Broncos are 2-0 as well. They have defeated the San Diego Chargers 6 straight times now at Mile High. 21-13 highlights of both of those a little bit later on. Let's go to the Bears and the New Orleans Saints. Boy, Jim Harbaugh's comebacks. Last year, he ruined the Saints at New Orleans with a last-minute comeback. Of course, last week, he and the Bears ruined the Lions with just seconds to go. So the Saints defense knew that they better take matters into their own hands. And they're as good a hands as there are in the NFL. Saint fans fired up. Richard Dent, the Fridge, seeing his first action of the season. It would be a defensive struggle. Dent fights off Jim Dombrowski and lays Bobby Hebert hard on the Superdome floor. Then it's the Fridge's turn. Look at him sit on Ironhead Hayward. That is a mammoth collision, Tommy.
Yeah, Chris, Fridge looking more like a mini bar nowadays. There he throws Jim Dombrowski, makes the tackle well into the backfield.
I'll have another one. Rough first half offensively for the Saints. Floyd Turner can't hold on to the ball. Things get worse for Floyd. On the punt return, Maurice Douglas, and it looks like a broken leg for Floyd Turner, gone for the year. Not much better for Turner's quarterback, Bobby Hebert. To Quinn Early, he was late. To tight end, Hobie Brenner, no, sir. To the rookie, Vaughn Dunbar, no, sir. First half, 3 of 14 for Bobby Hebert. 6-0 Chicago at the half. The second half, things changed dramatically. Second possession for the Saints in the third quarter, Hebert. To Eric Martin. Where's the defense? 52 yards. And the Saints take the 7-6 lead.
Yeah, and what held the defense up so that Martin could get open is the double fake here to Dunbar and Carroll. Gives him time to get open.
Then 58 seconds into the fourth quarter, Hebert to Wesley Carroll. It's a touchdown. 72 yards. 14-6 Saints. Second half for Bobby, a different story. 10 of 11, and you saw the 2 TDs. And you knew it would happen. Saints defense with the lead. Smelling it. Ricky Jackson with the stick. Robert Goff, 21 yards into the end zone. The nose tackle scores a touchdown, 21-6 Saints. Minute 21 seconds later, tipped by Darren Lewis into the hands of Reggie Jones. And he could go all the way. 71 yards. The 2 defensive touchdowns seal it for the Saints as they hang the Bears 28-6. The Saints and Bears both even their marks at 21-1. You can see that since '85, only the 4th loss for Mike Ditch's Bears in the month of September. This time, the Bears outgained the Saints. They gained almost 400 yards, but they could amass only 6 points. The Vikings at the Lions. Barry Sanders at home on his turf. He looked to lead the way, but Chris Dolman said, not so fast. Todd Scott said, stop right there. Chris Dolman said, forget these moves, Barry. Al Noga said, good and you? 26 carries for only 66 yards for Barry Sanders. So with him bottled up, what about the offense? Well, forget the offense. We have another Pro Bowler. He led both in kick and punt returns last year. Mel Gray. Look at him go. Dart right up the middle. And he could go all the way. It's a touchdown. 58 yards. The Lions lead at 7-0. Tom?
Chris Melgray has the great burst that gets him past the first wave. And then he has the quickness to weave in and out of the defense. And number 55 looks a little like me, Del Rio. Struggling.
Special teams weren't done, Tom. Later in the half, Quadrivest field goal blocked by Mark Spindler. Melvin Jenkins picks it up, and no one's going to catch him. 56 yards, and the Lions special teams touchdowns give them a 17-3 lead at the half. Last time their special team scored 2 touchdowns in one game, 77 against Minnesota. And what about that offensive destroyer, Jerry Ball? Look at him go! Put him in the backfield and then zip! Get out of my way, Gannon. It's a touchdown. Jerry Ball, they should line him up behind center.
To bother Dennis Green. Jerry Ball gets the ball, and there's Gannon getting his head down, and Jerry Ball leaping over him.
Oh, Jerry never looked better. 24-3 the Lions. And then late in the fourth, Gannon picked off by Kevin Scott to seal the win. So on a day when it wasn't Barry Sanders, and on a day when the Detroit offense got only 169 yards, so good game for the Viking defense, it was Detroit, who were 9-0 at home last year in their building, beating Minnesota 31-17. So each of the teams matched at 1-1, and it looks like that's the way it's going to go in the NFC Central, except for Tampa Bay, who has the lead after 2 games. Tommy, you know, you look at the Detroit Lions, they are at home. It's an oversimplification to say, well, things happen when they're at home, but you know, you used to play at Mile High Stadium. If you want to beat Detroit in the Silverdome, I think you have to outplay them, and Minnesota did not outplay them in all phases of the game.
No, they didn't, Chris. They came in 2 phases of their game, played well, the offense and the defense, but the special teams, I think, were not ready to play, especially when you have a return guy the caliber of a Mel Gray. But if you had told Coach Green before this game, Barry Sanders will not get into the end zone, but you're going to lose and have 31 points scored against you, I would venture to say he wouldn't have believed that.
Well, they did a great job against Barry Sanders, and but this is a show of the way that the Lions are maturing as a football team as we go inside the numbers early on in his career. If Sanders didn't get 100 yards, The Lions were a goner, 6-14. But last year, and now this year, even when he doesn't get 100 yards, they're 7-3. The Lions have grown with leaps and bounds, not all of them buried. When we return, a basketball game disguised as a football game. The Falcons and Redskins in some high-tech football. Stay with us. I'm at RFK, including a pair last year, one of them a playoff game. But to get with Dion back for the Atlanta Falcons and the Skins, think about their return depth chart, all right? This is on kick and punt returns. If they wanted Brian Mitchell, Desmond Howard, Darrell Green, yeah. This is one that could have been a basketball game.
Hey, you think you're busy? 2 words, Deion Sanders. He's scoring touchdowns, he's hitting triples, he's getting his hair done.
He did more than get his hair done. Dion is back with the Falcons. Desmond Howard, home debut. No flashy commercials for the Heisman Trophy winner, but in the second quarter, he's about to make one. Brian Mitchell gets whacked, but throws it across the field. It's a lateral to Desmond Howard. He points out the blockers. Now look at 26 Copeland come and help him with the last block. It's a touchdown. Welcome to the NFL, Desmond Howard. Welcome to RFK. 14-0 Skins. Wayne Sevier, special teams coach. Nice job.
This is a great play on special teams. Joe Gibbs knows that the ball is going to draw a crowd. Once it does, you throw it back to Desmond Howard. He's going to beat any one guy to the end zone.
So Desmond's smiling, but on the ensuing kickoff, it's prime time. Prime time. Prime time. He's going to dart right. Danny Copeland, remember, he had the speed before. Not this time. What, Chip Lohmiller's going to catch him? Give us a break. He could go all the way. 99 yards for prime time. With a prime time dance. Wow.
Chris, the thing that makes prime time so explosive is the speed. Here, you don't know what angle to take on him. Copeland doesn't take the right angle. Prime time stopped at about the 20 and started looking back.
So it's Desmond's turn. No, it's Brian Mitchell, who, if it weren't for Mel Gray, might have been in the Pro Bowl last year. Could we have 3 in a row? Oh, what, he's terrible? He only got out to the 40-yard line. George Will, that famed football fan. Come on. The commissioner's paying attention. Come on, George. 14-7, it's the Redskins leading. Let's play some conventional football. Mark Rippon still looks a little rusty. Overthrows Ricky Sanders, picked off by Tim McKyer. Next possession, the Falcons are going to send a blitz. Pump fake, and if you don't get the quarterback with the blitz, you're in trouble. Gary Clark, wide open touchdown, 21-7, Washington. 2 plays later, Chris Miller to Michael Haynes. Now, Darrell Green may be the fastest man in football. Michael Haynes is probably the second fastest. Is he going to catch him? No. Touchdown, 21-14, Washington.
And 2 things make this play. Left guard Houston Hoover is going to pop Kurt Gouveia, knock him outside, give Miller enough time to throw the ball, but look at the athleticism of Darrell Green. Even getting beat, he falls down at the line of scrimmage, and the fastest guy in the NFL falls just short of catching the second fastest guy in the NFL.
Darrell Green, well, look at the second quarter. That's when all the scoring was done. After a cooling off period, second half became a gut check for the Redskins defense. Brian Mitchell, normally short-handed, fumbles the punt. Ken Tippett recovers for the Falcons. This sets up Chris Miller early in the 4th, down by 10. To Tony Jones, replace that divot, Tony. He's down to the 1. 2 plays, gain nothing. Then on 3rd and goal, Jones almost makes the circus catch, but Atlanta has to settle for a field goal, 24-17 Skins. 8 minutes to go, the Falcons get the ball back. Miller. Boy, Atlanta has a lot of weapons. Mike Pritchard, 29 yards. Miller to Pritchard. Down to the 9-yard line. It's going to be an 18-yard pickup. On that play, Darrell Green had to leave the game. He broke his right forearm, out 4 to 6 weeks. He's replaced by A.J. Johnson, but Miller doesn't go after Johnson. Goes to the other corner. Martin Maheu almost picks it off. 2nd and goal. Miller for Pritchard, broken up by Kurt Gouveia. And remember Gouveia from the Super Bowl? I think so. Miller now remembers him like Jim Kelly does, to pick up in the end zone, and Gouveia makes the play.
A linebacker with great hands. You see it all the time.
For Tony Jones and the Falcons, they played very well, but the smiles go to Gouveia and the Redskins. When all was said and done, what a wild ball game at RFK as the Skins beat the Falcons 24-17. Afterwards, Desmond had plenty to smile about, but yet he was looking across the field.
I'm honored to have played in this game with Deion Sanders because I consider him probably the best athlete in the game. And, man, he just seems like he's having so much fun out there. He seems like he's having so much fun out there. He puts you in a comfort zone so you become relaxed and you can have fun. And I have to give credit to that to Deion. Just watching him out there, you can tell it's a business, but he's enjoying himself. And, that's the way I want to approach it.
Everybody enjoyed watching that game. Talk about two different ball games. What about the Cowboys at the Giants? What about controversy? Sims over Hostetler, defense controversy. Rod Rust, a new D for Ray Handley's Giants. Troy Aikman looked good on Monday night. First possession of the game, there's tight end Jay Novacek. Then Aikman to Michael Irvin. Why so much room, Tom?
Well, it's the case of Perry Williams, giving Irvin a lot of room up in front of him, but trying to keep a cushion.
Aikman to Fettuccine Alfredo Roberts inside the 10. Emmitt Smith, who the Giants usually bottle up, now bursts into the end zone, 5 yards, 7-0 Cowboys. Giants 3 and out in their first possession. And look at Ken Norton, a right to the face and a left to the jaw. And Landetta's punt is blocked. 14-0 as Williams recovers for a touchdown. Next punt by Sean Landetta. Kenneth Gant gets a hand on it. This results in a field goal, 17-0, Ray Handley squad behind. Dallas defensive coordinator Dave Wannstedt has his guys doing some work. Billy Bates, Charles Haley, Jimmy Jones, the handyman, and a bevy of Cowboys. Sandwich Phil Sims, Kenneth Gant. Maybe the Hoss says, I'd like to play, but looks pretty bad. 27-0 Dallas at the half. Tony Casillas and Tony Tolbert force a bad pass. Sims has it picked off by James Washington, and Dallas takes advantage. They want to go for the jugular in the early third. Aikman to Irvin, sheds Williams, and then he heads for the pylon. Is he in? First they say no, he's out at the 1, but then they talk about it. Hey, he did at the pylon. It's a touchdown. 34-0, Dallas embarrassing the New York Giants at the Meadowlands. Wake up. Wake up! He has a Cowboy shirt on. What's he sleeping for? Jimmy Johnson had never won in the Meadowlands. But yet, this one wasn't in the bag because Rodney Hampton got going.
To the left. To the right. To the left. To the right. To the left. To the right. And he goes in, Chris.
The Giants make it 34-14. Sims finds Chris Callaway for a first down. Sims to Ed McCaffrey. Sims to Joey Smith. Where are these guys coming from? Sims to Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker. 10:25 to go, 34-21, and look what the scoreboard does. It says, why stop at 21? We're going to win! And the crowd gets on its feet. I can't believe it. Give us more touchdowns. They try. Carl Banks bullies his way into Aikman. Incomplete pass. What a shift of emotion. Run out of the pocket. Eric Dorsey brings him down. Under 10 minutes to go, the Giants with the ball again. Bill Sims. Could he possibly lead them back from 34 points down to McCaffrey inside the Big D territory? Sims to Hampton. Look at this. To the right, to the left, to the right, to the left. Even LT senses something special. Sims to McCaffrey, down to the 2. And then the Giants. Play action. Tight end Howard crosses open 34-28. 3:42 to go. 3rd and 3 for Dallas. Can the Giants defense halt them? Dropped by Michael Irvin. Aikman can't believe it. The Giants now have a chance to win. But Charles Haley flushes Sims out of the pocket and he overthrows Baker. Sims to Megan, but only a yard. Ray Handley hopes the defense can get the ball back. And with 1:30 to go, 3rd and 5, Aikman to Michael Irvin, it's a first down. And the Cowboys would end up running out the clock. Jimmy Johnson and the Cowboys survive a major comeback by the Giants. And even though Phil Sims threw for enough yards to become the 13th quarterback to reach the 30,000-yard mark, congratulations, Phil. He would rather have the W. Too big a hole. 34-28, the Cowboys over the Giants. Emmitt Smith was surprised that the Giants got back in it.
You think you had the game won at halftime?
Well, yeah, we felt like we had the game won, honestly and truthfully. I felt like we had the game won. I thought I was going to sit down the third and fourth quarter. But as the game went on, you could see the momentum change.
And today just goes to show you that those guys did not win the Super Bowl a couple of years ago just because they were just chumps. That's a great team that has a lot of talent that goes to show you that you can never, ever quit.
It's disappointing to lose, but I'm proud of us as a team to be able to come back and show some, some guts. Like I said before, hopefully this will carry on throughout the rest of the season.
Maybe something to build on for the Giants, but we understand major fireworks in the Giants locker room at halftime. None of the players nor coaches would talk about it. I think in the span of a week, Tommy, the Cowboys have boys to men, if you may pardon the pun, because they beat Washington and they beat the Giants and they're on the way. Boys to Men's big hit song, The End of the Road. Does this comeback obscure the end of the road for the Giants, or is this a building block? That's something we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think it was certainly a proud effort, but I'd like to talk about the Giants' defense. The excellence of that defense has been predicated on the ability to stop the run. Now, we talked this morning on game day, would they be able to stop the run? And they weren't able to. You're talking about an aging defense, a defense that is now working under a new defensive coordinator with a more complicated scheme. They're used to playing 2 deep, 3 deep zone, just going after the quarterback. They can't do that anymore. And I don't know. I think they're in trouble.
It may be the best thing for the Giants now. They're not going to be at the Meadowlands for 3 more weeks. No singing, no chanting about Ray Handley. Maybe they get it together. They go to the Bears on a Monday night, and that's rough. And, boy, Dallas, a 2-0 start, both in the division. Back to the Atlanta-Washington game. Chris Miller is becoming a fine NFL quarterback. He'd be even better if he didn't have to play the Redskins. Against the Skins, his numbers are totally different than against the rest of the league. Last 10 games, 5 picks, only 1 TD against Washington. Against the rest of the league, 19 touchdown passes and won 7, lost only 1. The 49ers and the Bills. You talk about a basketball game? We got one for you that was even better than Atlanta.
Also dating back to last October 20th, but this was homecoming of sorts for Coach Chuck Knox of the Rams, as the folks in Anaheim settled in for the home opener. And the Patriots' first trip to Anaheim in 6 years. That's Scott Zolak sitting in the signals to Hugh Millen. First quarter, no score, 3rd down and 7. Hugh Millen throws up a bomb to no one except Anthony Newman. What happened, TJ?
You see Michael Stewart here on a safety blitz. He's unblocked. That's quite a shot for the quarterback to have to take.
That'll happen. Dick McPherson had encouragement for his quarterback. McPherson, you know he is a motivator. First quarter, no score. Tony Zendejas looking to tie the record for most consecutive field goals at 24, held by Kevin Butler. He misses right on this 47-yard attempt. Second quarter, still no score. Kevin Green comes around the left side, fights off his blocker for a big sack. Then in the third quarter, no score. 1st and 10, pass on 45. Gerald Robinson gets around his blocker. Pat Harlow hits Millen's arm to force the fumble, TJ.
Gerald Robinson with a good outside rush around Pat Harlow, comes from behind, uses that chop of the arm to knock the ball out.
Then the next play from scrimmage. Jim Everett goes deep to Flipper. Willie Anderson, but pass interference called on the play. Jerome Henderson, the guilty party. First and goal from the 1-yard line. Cleveland Gary scores. 6-0 Rams. Both teams, they were a little bit frustrated. John Vaughn, Todd Kitchen get into it. Not a pretty game. Rams do win 14-0, breaking their 11-game losing streak. Their first win since October 13th, 1991. Now for that AFC West battle between the Lightning Bolts and the Broncos. Chargers coach Bobby Ross watching his team struggle. 7-3 Denver late in the first half. Stan Humphries for Ronnie Harmon, who makes the one-handed catch. He pays for it. On the next play, Stan Humphries scrambles, finds Nate Lewis there in the end zone. 10-7 Chargers at halftime. John Elway and company, they got to work in the third quarter. First, he finds Mark Jackson on the right side. Then Jackson on the left. Smart running for the first down by Jackson. Same drive, Elway decides to run, and he gets in the end zone from 7 yards out. 14-13 Denver in the lead. Still in the third quarter. Stan Humphries, he's going to look for the speedster, Anthony Miller. Charles Dimry is there with the interception at San Diego's 34-yard line. On the very next play, Elway looks for Shannon Sharp. And look at Sharp. Stretches out for the touchdown grab. 21-13 Denver, still in the lead. Elway, 14 of 24, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, only 1 interception. The Chargers driving in the 4th. Stan Humphries' pass is picked off by Dennis Smith. Stan Humphries and the Chargers lose it by a final of 21-13. The 4th straight loss to the Broncos for the Chargers, and the 6th consecutive time the Chargers have lost to Denver at Mile High Stadium.
Hey, Dennis Smith hit so hard that he knocked Charlie Dimry out at the end of the game. It's just saying, DS-49, he is tough. I tell you what, in this day and age that, that you pass the ball a lot, 100-yard rushers are becoming rare on some Sundays. There was only one. Wait till we show you what Barry Foster did for the Steelers against the Jets. We'll be back. Hoping that the next time they see each other would be January 31st in Pasadena. Joe Montana on the sidelines, but he knew something was up. Jerry Rice got nailed early by Kurt Schultz. He would later leave with a mild concussion and would not return. So the Niners offense went south, right? No. After Jim Kelly fumbles, Steve Young to Odessa Turner, the former Giant. Look at him bull his way into the end zone. His first catch as a Niner is a touchdown. 7-0 the 49ers. Jim Kelly ignites the Bills. And he goes to Thurman Thomas. 20-yard touchdown, 14-10 Niners. Already, Thomas 5 TDs on the year. Back comes Steve Young to Mike Sherrard. The seam pattern, Williams, Kirby Jackson collide, and 56-yard pickup from Young to Sherrard. 15 seconds to go in the half. Young to JT. John Taylor. Touchdown, 24-13 San Francisco at halftime. But the Bills come out firing in the second half. Kelly to Pete Metzelaars. McKellar gets hurt. Metzelaars gets the start. And the tight end lumbers into the end zone, 53 yards. 24-20. Niners lead to 4. George Seifert says, come on, we got to play D. Not on this day. Steve Wallace can't keep Bruce Smith away. And Henderson fumbles the football. Marv Levy's Bills have the momentum. Kelly. Forget Lofton. Forget Reed. Forget Thomas. It's Kelly to Pete Metzelaars. 23 yards, 27-24, Buffalo. The 49ers come back. Young to John Taylor. Breaks a tackle. Breaks another one. Let him go. He could go all the way. 31-27, San Francisco. Pair of touchdowns for JT. George is smiling, but he wouldn't when the Bills drove. Bad snap. Donnie Johnson chases down Kelly and makes the sack. Marv Levy says we got to get going, so on 3rd and 16. Kelly to Andre Reed. Tackled by Eric Davis. 4th and 4. Kelly to Lofton. First down. Next play. Thermal. Up the middle. It's a touchdown. 34-31 Buffalo. But on 4th and 1 with under 2 minutes to go, Steve Young, he can do this so well. The quarterback roll and a first down. 1st and 10 at the Buffalo 30, a minute 23 to go. Wallace holds Bruce Smith. So that pushes things back. And from 47 yards out, Mike Cofer will try to tie it. It's long enough. It's high enough. But like Norwood's 47-yard field goal in the Super Bowl sailed right. First 47-yard field goal, which could have put the game to overtime. Sails right. And the Bills win on this twist. Buffalo over San Francisco, 34-31. Steve Young, 149 yards passing. Jim Kelly, 103 yards passing. No punts in the entire game. 1,086 yards in total offense. The record set back in 1950 by the Rams and the Yankees. That's right, 1,133. Unbelievable as the Bills beat the Niners. Jets and Steelers. Barry Foster, remember a couple of years ago at Candlestick Park, it was a second-half kickoff. He let it bounce. It went as the longest onside kick ever. Well, things are different for Barry Foster. 7-yard run, then a 9-yard run. Think Chuck Noll knew what he was doing when he kept them through all that? I think so. Bill Cowher's happy he's a Steeler. 23-yard run by Foster, 7-3 Pittsburgh over the Jets.
Browning Nagel impressed in his first start last week for New York. But today, Gerald Williams nailed it. Donald Evans recovers the fumble. That's the stunt by Williams, Tommy.
Yeah, Williams stunts by center Jim Sweeney and shoots the gap here, causes the fumble because Nagel never even had a chance to see him as he tried to get back.
O'Donnell for the Steelers to Merrill Hodge. Doink, and into the hands of Michael Brim. And he's gone. Brim is gone. 77 yards. 10-7 the Jets. 10-7 last seconds of the half. Blair Thomas looks for more, but it's a fumble. And the Steelers recover it. Donald Evans does the job. Next play, and a big play. Watch the Hail Mary. You never complete these. But O'Donnell does to Jeff Graham. And O'Donnell, way back 50 yards, has called timeout. The Jets and Steelers thought the half was over. Bruce Conslett thought so, but they put 2 seconds back on the clock. That allows Gary Anderson to kick a 28-yard field goal. That allows the Steelers to tie the game at 10-10 at the half, and Bruce Conslett says we're number one. Second half, more Barry Foster. Look at him churn for 54 yards and a touchdown. 17-10 Steelers. Foster did fumble 3 times, but had 33 carries for 190 yards, the best Steeler rushing effort since Frenchie Fuqua had 218 yards back in 1970. Scary moment, Browning Nagel hits his thumb on the helmet of Gerald Williams, had to go out of the game, was x-rayed. Ken O'Brien came in, his first pass. DJ Johnson picks it off. O'Brien's third pass. Larry Griffin picks it off. He's got a convoy into the end zone. The Steelers, again, defensively, forced the Jets, as they did Warren Moon's Oilers last week, to turn it over. 7 Jets turnovers. And Pittsburgh's Bill Cowher, the first guy to ever coach in 3 Rivers for the Steelers other than Chuck Noll, is now 2-0. The Steelers beat the Jets 27-10. X-rays, no late word yet on Browning Nagel, although he did return to the sideline with his hand in ice. All right, the Oilers and the Colts. Jack Pardee, he knows something about the Pittsburgh Steelers, what they did to Warren Moon last week, picking him off 5 times, and Warren Moon found out about the sack-happy Colts. Chip Banks' 5th sack of the year. Then the screen to Lorenzo White. Forget the sack, Lorenzo. They've been waiting several years for him to bust loose. This could be his break-open season. Lorenzo White, 69 yards, 7-0 Oilers. He gets free by eluding Steve Empman, and then he was gone. Oilers defense gets Chris Dishman, Sean Jones, William Fuller back. And right away, the Oilers playing a lot better. Al Smith with the shot. Mac Trudeau started at quarterback, caught in a quarterback crunch between Al and Doug Smith. Ted Marchibroda looking on as Trudeau had to leave with a bruised back. Since Jeff George is already hurt, Tom Tupelo-Honey warms up because they cut Mark Herman this week, and there are the Tom Matty plays written on his left armband. Could Tupa rally the Colts? No. Intercepted by Al Smith. Could Tupa rally? No. Could Warren Moon rally the Oilers? Well, he did eventually, but here's the late hit. Called on John Baylor. 3 plays later, Moon to Hayward Jeffrey, 17-3 Oilers. Last-ditch effort by the Colts. Jerry Gray picks it off. Tom Tupa left with only two letters. It was that rough a day. Tom Tupa, as the Oilers beat the Colts 20-10. Warren Moon, 29 of 39 for 361 yards. Lorenzo White had the big touchdown on the screen. We'll be back. Play it.
And with a kick clock. Clock picked up on a hop off to the races. Melvin Jenkins down. Viking 22, handoff Allen left side, and he's pulled down. Great tackle made there. Fumble. Hofer made the tackle. Ball picks it up on the run and scores. Touchdown Lions.
At 11, Hebert with time over the middle. He goes, and it's
At the 45, he takes it, throws it back, it out the 1. Deion Sanders to the 15, shake and bake move. He's open field. Deion Sanders to the 30.
Left slot to the right. Young back to throw. Steps up in the pocket, rifles a pass up the middle. It'll be a first down. 30, 25.
I want to know more about Rogaine with
NFL Primetime was brought to you by Bud Dry. For a beer that's refreshingly different, Try Bud Dry.
Tom and Robin, I'm Chris Berman. Let's do it again sometime.